This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
This
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We got the normal crew and Tori's back in town.
Back in town. Back in town.
I wish it was Monday. How was your trip, Tori?
It was lovely, and I complain about all the travel and all this stuff, and our executive producer, Bert, said, you know what about your mom? I visited my mom for Mother's Day. He goes, she's alive. And I was just,
Wow.
I shut up. I just shut up.
That's great.
And I was grateful. So it was wonderful.
That's what's up.
She's here.
We're glad you're back, girl.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
All right, let's get to it. We're breaking down some of the bombshells revealed in the new documentary about Britney Spears that aired last night. If you didn't see it, TMZ investigates Britney Spears, The Price of Freedom. That's what it's called. It looks at her life a year and a half after her conservatorship ended. But it paints a pretty grim picture of Britney. She apparently hasn't seen her two teenage sons in over a year, and her ex, Kevin Federline, apparently has plans to move them to Hawaii. The doc claims Britney lives in isolation, drives aimlessly around her neighborhood, and posts solo dancing videos, which we have all seen on Instagram. I don't see a reason TMZ would just make this up. We've been seeing it unfold the last couple of years. What do you think about this whole doc?
I don't believe TMZ made up anything. I think TMZ has a very good reputation, or a solid reputation, for getting things right.
That's a good point.
I don't see the reason why they felt the need to release this, especially in terms of, like, we clearly know that there's a problem, that something's not right, but we all have situations directly in our proximities that we're looking at going, there's something not right here, but do we further exploit it? And I feel like that's how a lot of people feel about this documentary.
What you think, Tor? You've been a long-time Britney defender. And,
Yeah.
and for full disclosure, everybody on this panel, we roll with Britney. So you guys know how I feel. But, Tori,
Yeah.
you've been a staunch defender.
Well, first of all, Harvey Levin, I agree with both of you. As a lawyer, would never do anything that, like, TMZ is a reputable source, just period. I trust that the documentary's out. But unless he made it to, like, help in some way, it's kind of like rubbing her face in it, in a way. I'm not understanding the point of it, and I guess that's what you're saying. Unless you're out there being like, she needs help, or a conservator, or someone to take over, and you have a point of view, cool. Without that, it's kind of just like slinging mud on someone who is very vulnerable right now. So I'm not quite sure, and that's not Harvey Levin's style. They kind of are just, I don't really get this.
Well,
I don't know who the audience is. I'm not gonna watch it.
I mean, I think a lot of people watch it.
Yeah?
I mean, Britney Spears is super famous. And we're getting in this weird thing, like, why would you make a documentary like this? Why would you make a documentary about anything? It's to make money. It's because people care about the subject that you're putting on.
But what if the subject is in an active mental breakdown? Are you still going to post a documentary that's not authorized about her, and know she's going to have to deal with that on top of her staggering decline?
I'm not saying that I would.
Right.
I'm just saying that anything that people will pay for will be made. So that's what we're in terms of just answering that question.
It seems so cruel, doesn't it?
That's why.
It seems cruel.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing. Now we know how much reprieve celebrities are afforded, and apparently it's 18 months.
Yeah.
Because 18 months ago, we were, leave Britney alone, she's going through something, get her out of her conservatorship, like, don't speak ill of Britney, she's obviously going through something. So that means that in 18 months, like, you give her 18 months, and then we'll put all of her business back out into the streets
and tear her down again.
Not only that, but what really doesn't sit well with me is the airing of the situation with her sons.
Right.
That is such a, like, anytime people want to have public conversations about people's family issues that are so intimate, like, this is a fundamental, like, this thing could go either way. Like, they could decide never to speak to her again, or she could, like, they could be split forever, or maybe there's a chance of reconciliation. Like, I'm sorry, we were all teenagers. We all hated our parents at some point, for far less maybe, or far more maybe. But to put that out there like that, when this is an active, ongoing situation with someone who clearly is maybe not in the best of health.
Right, seems unnecessary.
It does seem
But what if they
cruel.
want to take? What if they want Britney to get help? They
That's what
obviously have a
right.
long relationship with her, right? Harvey knows her probably personally and saw her grow up.
Absolutely.
What if this is getting help? Yeah, what if this is getting help? Because the pandering certainly doesn't help. Saying leave Britney alone, let her do her thing while she's twirling around naked on a public beach isn't a good look for anybody. So what if this? Because the pandering's not helping, and clearly she needs some kind of
Is that
help.
what this
I
is?
don't know if we paint Harvey Levin as a friend. Anybody who's profiting.
I'm saying a relationship.
He knew
Right,
her well.
but no, he had a one-sided relationship because he benefits from it. She doesn't benefit from any of this. So that's why I want
What
to
if
be
it
really
saves her
careful.
life?
Yeah, but I don't see it save. Like, it's almost like forcing somebody that you know is, let's say, okay, they're doing something that's detrimental to their health, like using drugs, whatever. And you're like, well, I'm going to keep needling at you until you get the help that you need. How effective is that?
Well, you know me, I'm always worried about precedents. So if we say that it's not cool to make this doc about Britney, can we make one about Aaron Hernandez? Can we make one about Bobby
Aaron
Brown?
Hernandez is not
passed.
on this earth.
He's
But
passed.
there's plenty about Bobby Brown.
But
There's
she's
one-
currently in the mental break.
Right. But
she's currently in real IRL, and he's still putting it
And
out
they're
there.
talking about what's happening now. When we talk about Bobby Brown, there's nothing that's
Right.
happened in the past 10 years or since Whitney Houston has passed away that we're having a conversation about. We're talking about an active situation in
Right.
real time.
That's dangerous.
That was the whole point of this documentary. What has happened since her freedom?
But we see a lot of, aren't all the SVUs ripped from the headlines? There are things that are currently happening in real time. There are two kinds of documentaries. There's ones that are kind of set in the past and kind of set the stage for what it was like in the early aughts, and there's some for this is currently going on
Yeah,
now.
but that's based on a true story. It's ripped from the headlines based on a story. This is one particular person. It just seems especially cruel
Right.
because it is actively happening. It's not based on anything but what has actively, and it continues to actively happen. And I thought that we had some kind of, empathy for someone who's going through something. I think at the end of the day, we're all thinking about people in our lives who are going through something. What would it be like if all of their business was aired in the streets? Those are generally the most protected people in our circles. So the idea that we're putting her out there like she is some superhero of emotion, knowing that she's clearly not, is just really strange to me.
And weirdly, not what Harvey Levin usually does in my mind, unless you're right and it's a call for help.
I don't know.
And
I'm just taking.
I agree. I mean, if that's what it is, great.
Yeah.
If not, I think it's unnecessary.
I just think we get into trouble when we start mixing, you know how I feel about capitalism, when we start mixing emotional words with capitalism. Capitalism does not feel
Okay,
anything.
so she's a check.
Yes. Yes.
That's the problem.
And that's
That is
the
the
cruelty,
problem.
and I agree with you. It is
That's the
cruel.
problem.
It is exploitative.
Yeah, but you're the
I'm
problem.
just
It's
saying-
complete exploitation.
Absolutely.
And it's unnecessary because guess what? Britney might be on social media doing whatever she's doing on social media. And yes, if you follow her, you might think it's strange. You might be saying something, whatever. But it's a completely different animal to pick her. It seems, not only is it cruel, it's just lazy.
I agree, but it's money.
In other
Well,
news,
I guess that's it.
Megan Fox has body dysmorphia, and Johnny Depp's got a new movie at Cannes. All right, coming up on DBL, our interview with actor Josh Duhamel. He's telling us all about his sequel to the comedy Buddy Games, and did Chris Pratt snub his ex-wife Anna Faris on Mother's Day? Chris, we're going to talk about it.
That's a nice suit.
DBL, this show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point.
But I'm going to have a conversation about what's happening now.
We all like to take shortcuts here and there, especially when driving. But is it illegal to cut through a parking lot or gas station to avoid a red light? Let's verify. Our sources, the North Carolina General Assembly, the Charlotte Municipal Code, and Attorney Gary Monty. According to state statute, when drivers approach a red light, they have to come to a complete stop and may not enter the intersection. Monty says if a driver cuts through a parking lot before a red light, this means the driver did not come to a complete stop and thus is in violation of the state statute.
Anything that's not you stopping at the stop sign before you proceed through the intersection violates the statute. So even though it doesn't say can't go through that side parking lot right there, It says what you're supposed to do.
Monty says some states have enacted a more specific law to eliminate all confusion, but North Carolina has not done that yet.
And I would suggest that the reason that the legislature hasn't done that is because, come on, everybody knows you're not supposed to cut through the parking lot.
But a Charlotte city ordinance does get more specific. According to section 14-128, a driver traveling from one street to an intersecting street must pass through the intersection. Any other path, for example, cutting through a parking lot, is a violation of the ordinance. And by the way, the Charlotte ordinance also says if the driver doesn't actually stop at a business while passing through its parking lot, it's presumed that the driver is intending to break the law. So we can verify that, yes, it is illegal to cut through a parking lot or gas station to avoid a red light. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter answers your questions, clarifies what's true and false, and even includes a daily fun fact. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Welcome back. Chris Pratt can't catch a break on social media, it seems like. So Chris posted this tribute to moms on Sunday where he praised all the mothers out there, including his mom, his mother-in-law, Maria Shriver, and his current wife, Katherine Schwarzenegger. So who he did single out, I'm sorry, who he also singled out as the mother of his two daughters and stepson to his son, Jack. But some fans were upset that he didn't mention his ex-wife, Anna Faris, who is Jack's mom. They were married for 8 years, if you remember. Why is everyone come for Chris Pratt all the time, I feel like?
Well, this is, let's be honest. You said in the meeting, so I don't want to jump on it, but it's fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. He's done this twice now. So it's not, I'm not like, oh my God, Chris Pratt.
Is there anything like maybe he knows what he's doing and there's not such a good relationship there and there's a reason why he left her out?
Well, I think that could be the case, maybe, but like, we don't need to know that.
Like optically,
honestly,
right?
I blame Tom Brady. Tom Brady messed it up for him.
Why?
Tom Brady thanked Bridget Moynihan. He thanked Giselle Bundchen.
He thanked everybody.
He thanked his mother. He thanked the mother of the world.
Gaia.
Okay?
Gaia,
he
Mother
made
Nature.
sure that he was all inclusive.
That's good.
And he hit the nail on the head.
Good for
Everybody's
him.
like, Chris, what's wrong with you? Look at Tom. Look at Tom. He's the GOAT even at Mother's Day.
Yes, well, his social media
That's a good
person is the GOAT. I don't think Tom Brady's logging on to Instagram.
Do you know if he knows how to get on Instagram?
Yeah,
Tom Brady.
Looking at the game footage. But it should be noted that he should follow that path. I think he should hire somebody that sees, let's give him the benefit of the doubt, which I do not believe, but I do think that he purposely did that. But let's say he didn't know. That's because he's an A-list celebrity. If you're an A-list celebrity, you get people to handle your social media so that your posts are consistent and go after the demographic that you've cultivated, which is a wholesome Christian demographic that follows your movies that are wholesome and for the whole family. So if you have yourself as a whole family, everybody included image, you want to perpetuate that on Mother's Day by saying, hey, I'm the guy that's in Guardians of the Galaxy and I also love the mother of my children.
By leaving out the mother
No,
of
that's why you hire somebody.
That's why you should have.
But Al, let's bring it to a personal level. Right? You guys all make great points, right? But let's bring it to a personal level. Your current wife really dislikes your past wife. Nothing to do with it, despises her. I don't want you mentioning her name ever again. You're going to do a post and upset your current wife and her mother and all that and be like, I'm going to put a post out. Do you mind if I mention that person that you hate? Because I had some ex-girlfriends that didn't like me mentioning my other girlfriends.
Right.
Yeah, but y'all didn't have kids.
Right. And if your new wife hates the mother of your kids, that can't be your new wife. It can't be.
Why not?
Because there's too much crossover in terms of holidays, in terms of coordinating schedules.
Drama? There's drama.
It's so much drama that has nothing to do with Mother's
We
Day.
got to go. I could talk about this for a while. We'll be back.
I get that. You can't marry him. You can't do it. Can't marry him.
Viewer Janice Sumner shared some ways to save per, quote, the experts. The top tip is to fill your tank late in the evening in the coolest part of the day. So is it true filling up in the coolest part of day saves significant money on gas? Our sources are Consumer Reports and Gas Buddy head petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan. It's basic physics. Gas heats up, it expands. So because gas is denser when it's cooler, theoretically, you'll get more energy per gallon if you fill up in the coolest part of the day. That's accurate, but Dahan explained the change is minuscule.
Gasoline is more dense when it's colder, but a lot of stations temperature correct on both sides, meaning when the air temperature is above or below a certain threshold, their pumps are calibrated to take into consideration the temperature differentials. And by the way, we're talking about, basically the equivalent of very small, drips. This isn't going to be a noticeable thing.
The same is true for morning fill-ups. Consumer Reports tested the theory, pumping in the cool early morning and warm afternoon. At both fill-ups, the first few gallons were notably warmer than the latter ones because the gas had sat in the pump dispenser. But the temperature-controlled gas in the underground tank quickly compensated for those initial gallons. Consumer Reports also concluded a 15-degree difference in air temperature between fill-ups caused only a 1% difference in gas volume.
These pumps are always calibrated by departments of agriculture and weights and measures, so you're not, this is not the way to save more than 10 cents. This is just small peanuts.
We can verify no. Filling up in the coolest part of the day, morning or evening, won't save you much money on gas. It's likely not worth chasing costs to fill up at certain times, especially if you are making an extra trip to the gas station.
You drug us. You got a little mustache. Why'd you grow your hair out?
Welcome back. After his directorial debut with Buddy Games, the Bob father is back at it again in this new sequel, Buddy Games Spring Awakening. Earlier, we spoke with the Josh Duhamel. Take a look. Everyone, welcome to the show, Josh Duhamel.
Yeah. How you doing? Josh, let's jump right in. You're looking handsome, more handsome than ever. So this new sequel looks wild, and you're not just in the movies, but you're also directing them. Way to grab the bull by the horns.
Yeah.
How does it feel reuniting with this cast again for spring break? And I listened to a podcast with Kevin Dillon. He said you guys just have the best times on set.
Yeah, we really do. These guys have become really close friends of mine. I knew Nick, and I knew Dan, and I knew Roday, James Roday, before. And Kevin, I'd met shortly before we started shooting the first one. And, these guys have been just fantastic. They show up to work every single day, and they bring so much more to the script than I could have even hoped for. So this movie is, on par with the first one. It is outrageous. It is a bit provocative, I would say. and, at the end of the day, it's about friendship. It's about camaraderie. And it's about just, not letting that kid die and trying to stay as young and fun and youthful as they can. And these guys definitely do that.
Don't let the man get you down. All right, it seems like movies like these that you're talking around, they come around every generation, right? Like Porky's, American Pie, The Hangover, and now Buddy Games. As a director, why do you think people love these movies?
Well, I think it's the unapologetic nature of these kind of movies that feel a little naughty stuff, but it's really funny. And I think that we had some fun with some of the current the current state of affairs out there, but we tried to do it in a way that was good-natured and not mean-spirited, but just had fun with sort of the extremes of some of the things that are happening out there. And this movie is at the end of the day, it's fun, and it's about friendship and how valuable those friendships become the older you get.
Well, we're a big fan of a little naughty and fun on this team, for sure. So we're looking forward to seeing this. But I want to talk about spring break, because when I think of spring break, I feel like there's activities people, and there are people like myself who are like, I'm not moving from this pool. So what type of spring breaker are you?
Good.
Well, this sort of harkens back to my college years going to spring break, and it was not just sitting by the pool and not moving. We were moving and shaking, I'll put it that way. It was crazy. And I think that part of this is these guys had this idea of what spring break used to be. And they find themselves accidentally in the middle of the throes of this wild spring break. and they had just left. And the reason they're there is because one of their closest friends had just passed away, and they were going to go memorialize him where he was happiest, where he first fell in love, was at this beach where they went to spring break, not realizing that it was actually right in the middle of it. So they show up here with suits on directly from the funeral, and they find themselves right in the middle of, you know, what was some of the craziest times for them, and they find out quickly that times have changed. And they have to it's sort of the old guard meets the new guard, and it's a funny combination.
Can I just say that set is amazing, by the way.
Beer. Don't you want that
Well,
beer?
I just want to hang. I don't want to do the interview anymore. I just want to hang out and drink and play games.
Yeah.
But speaking of career choices, I heard that you wanted to be a dentist before you were an actor. What do you think of your career path now?
I was going to be a dentist. Here I am. I would take this over that any day. This has been, you know, I still have to pinch myself because I still see myself as this naive kid from North Dakota who, you know, was trying to just dip my toes in the water to see if it was something I had the nerve to do 23 years ago. And, you know, to look back on all that and all the experiences and all the ups and the downs and to still be in the game after this long is still it's kind of hard to believe.
Yeah.
But also very, very grateful to even be here.
Well, we're grateful you're here. This movie looks hilarious. We cannot wait to check it out. DBL Nation, be sure to check out Buddy Game Spring Awakening in theaters May 19th and on digital June 2nd. I think we should go play some ping pong in the back. Super into it. Thank you so much, Josh. We'll be right back. Enjoy.
Thank you, DBL Show.
We have seen the warnings. Too much screen time can lead to migraines. But is that true for every migraine sufferer? To get the facts, we went to Dr. Megan Donnelly, lead neurologist for Novant Health, Dr. Ahmad Estamalik, headache specialist for the Cleveland Clinic and the Mayo Clinic. The Mayo Clinic describes a migraine as a headache that is accompanied by severe throbbing pain or pulsing sensation in your head.
By definition, to be considered migraine, somebody has to have had at least 5 attacks in their life.
Those attacks can include nausea, vomiting, and extreme sensitivity to light and sound. But can too much screen time cause them?
Screen time alone is not going to cause a migraine in somebody who wasn't really supposed to have one anyway.
Dr. Donnelly says it can be a trigger for people who are sensitive to light and have experienced migraines in the past.
If there's somebody who already is predispositioned to having migraine, they run in the family, they've had them previously, screen time can play a role for some patients.
The time of day can also play a role in migraines that are triggered by screen time.
So if somebody is looking at the screen and it's during regular hours, they might do better. But if they're looking at the screen at all hours of the night, that can worsen the frequency of migraine as well.
Really minimize screen time, phone time, especially in the 1 to 2 hours before someone goes to sleep. I think that will make a tremendous difference.
Dr. Donnelly says other triggers like stress, whether too much or too little sleep, can also kick off a migraine. So getting a migraine from too much screen time really depends on the individual's triggers. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
Are you skeptical of headlines and what you see on social media? We are too. The Verify newsletter helps you distinguish between true and false information by answering your questions. It provides fast facts on trending topics, spotlights major stories, and even includes a daily fun fact for all those trivia buffs out there. Get Verify's fast facts delivered every weekday to your email inbox. Go to verifythis.com/email to check it out.
Google search data shows many people have questions about immigration, including whether undocumented workers pay taxes. So, let's verify. Do undocumented workers pay taxes? Our sources are the Internal Revenue Service, the Social Security Administration, and the Institute on Taxation and Economic Policy. Federal law requires anyone who works in the U.S. to pay taxes on their income, even undocumented workers. Undocumented workers can file an income tax return using an individual taxpayer identification number, which is available to people without a Social Security number. The Social Security Administration estimated that undocumented workers contributed billions of dollars in taxes, including to Social Security, even though they're not eligible for the program. Although not every employer and worker follows the rules. If someone is paid under the table, then there's no way to track whether they pay taxes on their income. So, yes, some undocumented workers do pay taxes. They also pay other taxes like sales and excise for goods and services, as well as property taxes. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. We've got some amazing products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out. All right, what do you have for us today, Steph?
All right, Jeff, are you ready for some deals with DBL Nation?
Absolutely. Let's get to it.
Check out this. You're going to love this. I am so excited to show this off because this is the fanciest thing I've ever seen. It's the Cuisinart Digital Air Fryer Toaster Oven. So this deal includes one toaster oven, one oven rack, one baking pan, and one air frying basket. So normally this is $300, Jeff, which is pretty pricey, but we've got it for $139.99, so that's saving everyone 53%. Now check out this as well. This is the Better Bedder Sheets Holder by Lori Grenier. So this deal includes one Better Bedder that makes making the bed really easy. And normally it's $37, but we've got it for just $19.99, so that's saving everyone 46%. Now check out this, Jeff. This is the 6-pack Safety Grip Pairing Knives. So this deal includes 6 pairing knives available in 5 different colors. We've got black, blue, we've got gray, red, and rose gold. So normally these are $29, but we've got them for just $10. So that's saving everyone 66%. Now look at this. This is our last product today. I love a handbag, and this is just gorgeous. It's the MKF Collection 2-piece 1D vegan leather hobo and wallet set. So this deal includes one tote and one wallet. We've got it available in 9 different colors. So whether you like a pop of color or prefer a nice neutral, this is sure to be your new go-to tote set. So normally they're $299, but they're very good quality. But we've got them for $44.99, so that's saving 85%.
Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can even scan the QR code on your screen to take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Thank you so much, Steph. Well, I hope you get your Morning Save products because they're pretty much all sold out because I hosted that.
Okay, hosted or posted a losing one?
No, all right. Yeah, you didn't know where that sentence was going.
No.
She started it and then.
So I will permanently be hosting it after that sentence right there.
I'm rusty. I'll get back into it.
We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time, same place.